The sound of the bullet cracked through the air before he even hit the ground. Private First Class Ryan Cole didn't feel it at first, just a sudden punch in the chest, the kind of hit that knocked all the breath out of him. His rifle slipped from his hands, clattering against the dirt wall of the trench, and he was on his back staring up at a sky split by black smoke and red tracer fire. He heard someone yell his name, the sound muffled like it was underwater. Cole. Jesus Christ, Cole's hit. His vest had caught most of it, thank God, but the shock had paralyzed him for a few precious seconds. A sniper round. Close. Too close. He wanted to move. To sit up. To prove he was still breathing, still in the fight. But then, through the ringing in his ears, came a sound that froze him more than the bullet had. A voice. Stay down, soldier, it called, calm, deliberate, carrying over the battlefield noise in accented English. Next one won't miss. For a second, Cole thought he was imagining it. But the others in the trench went quiet, ducking lower, eyes darting toward him. Everyone had heard it. The sniper wasn't just hunting, they were speaking to him. Cole forced himself onto his elbows, gasping, lungs screaming for air. Sergeant Ramirez's hand shoved him back down hard. Don't give him a target, Ramirez hissed. The sniper laughed, distant but sharp enough to cut through the chaos. You Americans. Always crawling in the dirt. Tell me, how many of you are left? Ramirez cursed under his breath and signaled for everyone to keep their heads down. The enemy sniper wasn't bluffing. He had the line of sight and he wanted them to know it. Cole's pulse thundered. He thought about home, about the last phone call to his mom, where she told him to be safe, in that trembling voice she tried to hide. He thought about the taste of cheap coffee in the mess hall, about the way Private Wilson would always hum some awful country tune to calm his nerves. Normal things. Gone in a heartbeat if he lifted his head again. But staying down wasn't an option either. They were pinned. Ramirez was already pulling the radio, speaking low and quick, trying to call for smoke support or artillery to flush the sniper out. But the channel was garbled, static, interference like the whole valley was cursed. Cole finally found his voice. Sarge, we can't just sit here. He'll pick us off one by one. Shut your mouth and keep it shut, Ramirez growled, but not without a glance, an acknowledgement. The kid wasn't wrong. Another shot cracked. Dirt exploded a foot from Wilson's helmet, showering them all with grit. Wilson yelped, hands clamped over his ears. The sniper's voice came again, colder this time. One of you dies every minute until you run. Choose who goes first. Cole felt something tighten in his chest, not fear exactly, but a kind of defiance that had carried him through training, through the endless drills and screaming sergeants. He wasn't going to let some bastard toy with them like animals. He reached for his rifle, fingers brushing the stock. Ramirez's hand snapped out again, gripping his wrist. Cole, don't be stupid. I can take him, Cole whispered, though the words tasted like madness. No, you can't. He's baiting you. That's a pro out there. You poke your head up, you're done. The others were silent. 6 men and women crammed into that trench, every breath loud, every heartbeat louder. The enemy had them in a cage, and the only way out was to either run or fight smarter. Cole thought fast. The sniper was confident, too confident, talking like he had all the time in the world. That arrogance could be used against him. He pressed closer to Ramirez. Give me the mirror from your kit. Ramirez's eyes narrowed. What the hell for? Just do it. After a beat, Ramirez pulled the small circular signal mirror from his pack. Cole angled it carefully over the edge of the trench, just enough to catch a sliver of the ridgeline. The sunlight bounced off the mirror, almost blinding, but he steadied it. Slowly the shape came into view, a figure tucked behind shattered stone, patient as death. The sniper. The bastard was perched high, camouflaged, scope trained directly on them. Cole's stomach twisted, but he didn't look away. He marked the angle, the distance, the way the rifle shifted slightly with each breath. He lowered the mirror and exhaled shakily. 200 meters northeast ridge. Shadow between the rocks. Ramirez cursed again, but there was respect in it now. You got eyes? Cole nodded. Yeah. Clear as day. Ramirez thought fast, then handed Cole a smoke grenade. All right. You want to play hero? Fine. Pop this. We cover you. You try anything beyond that and you're dead. Understood. Cole clenched the grenade tight. Understood. He yanked the pin, lobbed it high, and the white plume erupted instantly, spreading across the trench line. Shouts rose as the squad scrambled, repositioning. Cole pressed against the dirt wall, heart hammering as the smoke swallowed them. The sniper fired again, blind this time. The bullet whined past, slamming into the dirt. Cole took his chance. He vaulted from the trench, low and fast, boots pounding the cracked earth as he zigzagged. He could hear Ramirez shouting behind him, could hear the rest of the squad laying down suppressive fire, the rattle of M4s echoing like thunder. Every instinct screamed at him to duck back down, to hide, to survive. But he kept running, adrenaline burning away the fear. He slid into a shallow ditch halfway up the ridge, chest heaving, and readied his rifle. Through the smoke, through the chaos, he could still feel that sniper's eyes searching, waiting. Cole whispered to himself, a mantra he'd clung to since boot camp. Don't freeze. Don't fold. Move. The sniper's voice rang out again, closer now, mocking. Brave little soldier. Do you think you'll reach me? Cole's grip tightened. He didn't answer. Words wouldn't win this. Instead, he crawled forward, inch by inch, using every shadow, every rise in the dirt. The battlefield roared around him, but in his head there was only silence. The kind that comes before a coin flip, before a gamble that might end everything. He was close enough now to see the glint of the sniper's scope again. The enemy shifted, searching the smoke for movement, unaware of how near Cole had come. Cole lined up his rifle, every muscle taut, breath shallow. This was it. Life or death. And then, a whisper so faint he almost thought it was in his head. You shouldn't be here. It wasn't the sniper. The voice came from the ridge itself, from a shadow behind him. Cole spun, finger on the trigger, and froze. Another figure. Another enemy soldier. But this one hadn't fired, hadn't moved until now. Eyes locked on his, weapon raised. Cole's mind raced. He'd been so focused on the sniper, he hadn't even considered the possibility of a spotter. The trap was wider than he'd thought. And for the first time, Ryan Cole wasn't sure if he'd survive the next 10 seconds. Cole's breath caught in his throat, every nerve screaming at once. The spotter's rifle was leveled at him, finger already on the trigger. Cole's mind flashed images of his mother again, of the last time he saw her on the porch before deployment, of Wilson's stupid grin in the trench, of Ramirez barking orders like the world was on fire. No time to think. Cole yanked the trigger. His shot cracked a half-second too late. The spotter's bullet seared past his shoulder, tearing cloth and skin, hot pain blooming instantly. Cole's own round found its mark lower than intended, catching the man in the side. The spotter stumbled, firing wildly, dust and stone exploding inches from Cole's face. Cole rolled hard to the left, slammed against the ridge and fired again. This time the shot dropped the man flat. The spotter spasmed once, then stilled, weapon clattering from his grip. But Cole didn't have time to breathe relief. The sniper knew. Another round detonated against the rock near Cole's ear, sending shards flying. He ducked lower, heart pounding so hard it drowned out the battlefield noise. The smoke below was thinning and his squad was still trading fire, still pinned. He was alone up here and the sniper was furious. Cole pressed himself against the dirt, ignoring the burning pain in his shoulder. He had maybe 10 seconds before the sniper adjusted for a kill shot. Think. Oh, don't freeze. He unhooked a frag grenade from his vest. The safety pin trembled between his fingers as he pulled it free. He couldn't see the sniper anymore, just the jutting edge of the rock he was nested behind. But Cole didn't need precision. He needed chaos. He lobbed the grenade over the ridge and flattened himself to the ground. The explosion ripped the air apart, a violent crack that shook the earth beneath him. Dust billowed. Rocks splintered. And through it all came a sharp, guttural shout, not pain but anger. Cole's gut twisted. He hadn't killed him. Just pissed him off. Then another shot. This one struck close enough to punch a spray of dirt into Cole's mouth. The bastard was still alive. Cole crawled forward, lungs burning, inching toward the broken rocks. His rifle was slick in his hands, sweaty despite the chill in his veins. He risked a glance. The sniper had shifted, retreating deeper into cover, rifle trained downhill at the trench. He was disciplined, unshaken by the grenade. But there was something else, blood trailing across the stone. Cole's grenade had done some damage after all. He had to finish it. Cole steadied his rifle. The world slowed. His pulse thudded heavy in his ears, but his hands locked steady on the grip. He had one chance. He squeezed the trigger. The shot cracked, echoing across the ridge. The sniper jolted, body twisting but not falling. The man turned, face half covered by a scarf, eyes burning with hate. He lifted his rifle with terrifying calm, barrel locking onto Cole's chest. Cole fired again, desperately, before the sniper could. His second shot tore through the man's throat. The sniper staggered, rifle slipping from his hands, and collapsed against the rocks. Silence. The kind of silence that was heavier than gunfire. Cole lay there gasping, rifle still aimed, waiting for movement. None came. Finally, his body unclenched, muscles trembling with the release. He'd done it. He'd killed the ghost that had held them pinned. But the victory tasted like ash. The spotter lay dead behind him, young, probably not much older than Cole himself. The sniper, he'd never know the man's name, but those eyes would stick with him. He'd seen hatred there, yes, but also something else. Something that made the words echo again in his head. You shouldn't be here. Cole shook it off, dragging himself up the ridge toward the sniper's perch. His squad's gunfire was thinning now, the enemy line breaking, retreating without their long-range support. Cole knew Ramirez would hold them together, but he needed to be sure this nightmare was over. The sniper's body slumped awkwardly against the rocks, blood pooling dark. Cole crouched, keeping his rifle trained, then carefully pried the man's scarf down. Middle-aged. Scarred jaw. Weathered skin. Not the monster Cole had imagined, just another soldier. Another man following orders, same as him. Cole's chest tightened. He muttered, voice rough, "Guess you picked the wrong day to play God." A faint cough answered him. Cole jerked back, rifle snapping up. The sniper wasn't dead, not yet. His eyes flickered open, cloudy but sharp enough to cut. "You think you've won?" the man rasped, blood bubbling with each word. "This just started." Cole's finger hovered on the trigger, but something stopped him. The man wasn't reaching for a weapon. He wasn't fighting anymore. He was warning him. "Your command, they send you here, but they don't tell you why," the sniper choked out, voice fading. "Not resources. Not land. Secrets." His lips curled in a grim smile. "Buried under your boots." Cole swallowed hard, words caught in his throat. Then the man went still, finally gone. Cole stood frozen for a moment, the weight of the battlefield pressing down harder than before. Secrets? Buried? He didn't have time to process it now. "Cole." Ramirez's voice boomed from below. "Report, damn it." Cole jolted, slung his rifle and slid back down the ridge. His shoulders screamed with every movement, blood sticky down his sleeve, but he ignored it. He dropped back into the trench where Ramirez grabbed him by the vest. "Jesus Christ, kid, you look like hell." Cole managed a grim smile. "Sniper's down. Spotter too." Ramirez blinked, then let out a sharp laugh, half disbelief, half relief. "You're out of your goddamn mind." He slapped Cole's helmet. "But you did it." The squad erupted in cheers, ragged but real, tension breaking like a dam. Wilson punched Cole's good shoulder, grinning wide. "You're a crazy bastard, man. Remind me never to play cards against you." For a brief moment, humor cut through the blood and smoke. They were alive. They'd survived. But the war didn't stop for victories. The radio crackled suddenly, Ramirez snatching it up. A frantic voice came through, distorted but clear enough. "Enemy reinforcements inbound. Armored units. Estimated 5 minutes to contact. Get the hell out of there." The squad's smiles vanished. Ramirez barked orders instantly. "Pack it up. We move now. Cole, you can walk." Cole nodded, though his shoulder burned. "I'll manage." "Good. 'Cause if you drop, we all drop." Ramirez's tone was sharp, but his eyes lingered a second longer, a silent acknowledgement of what Cole had done. They scrambled from the trench, boots pounding, gear rattling. The valley ahead stretched wide and exposed, the kind of ground you didn't want to cross with tanks rolling in behind you. But they had no choice. Cole pushed through the pain, forcing his legs to move. Every step sent fire through his shoulder, but adrenaline kept him upright. The sniper's words wouldn't leave his mind, circling like vultures. "Secrets. Buried under your boots." What the hell did that mean? There was no time to dwell. The distant rumble of engines shook the ground. The reinforcements were coming fast. "Move. Double time." Ramirez shouted. They sprinted, weaving through the broken terrain, lungs heaving, fear biting at their heels. Cole kept his eyes forward, but he couldn't shake the feeling that every decision he made from here on out would matter more than anything before. He had survived the sniper. But the real fight, the one the dying man had warned him about, was only beginning. Ryan Cole woke to pain. It radiated from the side of his skull, sharp and throbbing, each heartbeat a hammer blow. His vision blurred, clearing only in patches. The world swam back slowly, jagged stone above him, dim firelight flickering off rock walls, the smell of smoke and blood in the air. He tried to move, but his wrists screamed. Rope cut deep into his skin, binding his arms behind a splintered support beam. His ankles were lashed too, leaving him slumped in a corner of what looked like a shallow cave carved into the ridge. And then he remembered, the charge, the sniper's nest, the rifle stock slamming into his skull. Captured. You're awake. The voice slid through the shadows like a knife. Calm now but venomous. The sniper. Cole squinted, his eyes adjusting. The enemy sat only feet away, rifle resting across his lap, eyes cold in the firelight. A man in his 30s maybe, lean, wiry, face scarred by wind and war. His gaze burned with fury, but there was control too. Where's my squad? Cole croaked, his throat dry as sandpaper. The sniper tilted his head, almost amused. Still alive. For now. I let them go. Cole's stomach dropped. That didn't sound right. Why? The sniper's jaw tightened. Because this is between you and me. You took something from me today. His voice cracked slightly, the calm slipping. My brother. Cole swallowed hard. The spotter. The fight in the dirt. The blood on his hands. He hadn't had a choice, but that didn't matter here. You made your choice, the sniper went on, voice sharpening. Now I make mine. He stood, pacing slowly, the rifle never far from his grip. You Americans think you can come here, crawl through our dirt, shoot us down like animals? But you don't understand. This land, these hills, this is home. We fight because we must. Because if we don't, you burn it all. Cole forced his voice steady. I didn't want to kill him. He would have killed me. The sniper spun, eyes blazing. You think that matters? His shout echoed through the cave. He was my blood. Do you know what that means? Cole flinched but didn't look away. Yeah, I do. The sniper froze, his rage pausing for just a moment. Cole pressed on. I had a brother. Back home. He enlisted too. Didn't make it out of Afghanistan. Same war you're fighting, just a different valley. I know what it's like to lose family to this. Silence fell heavy. The fire popped, the only sound. The sniper's jaw clenched, his chest heaving with quiet fury, but something shifted in his eyes. Not forgiveness. Not sympathy. But maybe, recognition. You and I are not the same, he muttered at last, though his voice had lost some of its bite. Cole leaned forward as much as the ropes allowed. Maybe not. But we're stuck in the same war. The sniper stared at him for a long time, then turned away. Rest. Tomorrow you suffer. Cole's gut twisted. He wanted to push, to argue, but exhaustion dragged him down like chains. His head throbbed, his limbs ached, and soon the cave blurred again into darkness. When he woke the second time, it wasn't to firelight but to sunlight burning through the cave mouth. He blinked hard. His ropes had been loosened just enough for him to sit upright. His captor crouched near the entrance, glassing the valley below with binoculars. Watching. Waiting. Cole's chest tightened. His squad was down there somewhere. Searching. Fighting. Maybe already dying. And he was up here useless. You watch them too, don't you? The sniper said suddenly, not turning. Your men. Always counting heads. Wondering who won't come back. Cole said nothing. The sniper lowered the binoculars and looked back at him. I've watched them move. They'll try again. To climb. To find you. He tilted his head slightly. Do you want them to succeed? Cole's pulse quickened. Of course I do. The sniper smirked faintly. Then hope they're smarter than you were. Down in the trench, Sergeant Ramirez was losing patience. Cole's disappearance had split the squad. Some wanted to pull back, regroup with the larger company. Others wanted to charge again, to drag him out before the sniper used him as bait. Ramirez's hands shook as he lit a cigarette, something he rarely let himself do in the field. That kid's green but he's got guts, he muttered. Not leaving him up there. Private Wilson fidgeted, sweat streaking the dirt on his face. Sarge, if we rush that ridge again we'll all end up like King. Or worse. Ramirez exhaled smoke, staring at the rocks above. He'd buried too many good men already. He wasn't about to lose another without trying. Cole bought us time before. Maybe it's our turn to buy him some. Back in the cave, Cole tested the ropes. They were tight, but the sniper hadn't tied him with the precision of a professional jailer, more like a man too angry to care. The fibers gave slightly when he twisted, scraping his wrists raw. He had time. And if his squad was coming, he needed to be ready. The sniper noticed the movement. He didn't stop him. Instead, he crouched close, eyes burning again. You Americans always think you can break free. Always believe someone's coming to save you. But tell me, he leaned in, voice dropping to a whisper. What if they don't? Cole met his stare, forcing himself not to blink. Then I'll save myself. The sniper smiled thinly. We'll see. He stood, slung his rifle and stepped outside, leaving Cole alone with the ropes and his racing thoughts. Hours crawled. The sun dipped lower. Cole kept working the ropes, wrists bleeding, teeth clenched. He thought of home again. His mom's voice, his brother's memory, the stupid inside jokes in the barracks that made the nights bearable. And he thought of Ramirez, of Wilson, of the squad. They wouldn't quit on him. He couldn't quit on them. At last, the rope frayed enough to snap. His hands came free, raw and trembling. He bit through the ankle ties, spat the fibers, and stood on shaky legs. The cave was quiet. The sniper hadn't returned yet. Cole crept to the mouth, heart pounding. The valley stretched below, dotted with smoke and movement. He could just make out shapes, his squad moving, flanking. Coming for him. But before hope could take root, the sniper's voice cut through the silence, sharp as ever. "I told you not to move." Cole spun, but the rifle barrel was already at his chest. The sniper stood just inside the cave, eyes cold, smile gone. For a long moment, neither moved. Then the sniper lowered the weapon slightly, not out of mercy but out of something darker. "Run," he said softly. "Let's see if your friends find you before I do." Cole's breath hitched. The trap was set. The hunt was beginning. And the war, for him, for his squad, for the ghosts of brothers lost on both sides, was about to get even bloodier. Ryan Cole bolted. The moment the sniper gave the command, his body reacted before his mind could catch up. His boots pounded against the rocky ground as he tore down the ridge, lungs straining, adrenaline surging hot through his veins. Every instinct screamed at him that it was suicide, to run in the open with a marksman behind him, but he had no choice. The crack of a rifle split the air. A puff of dirt exploded at his heels. Cole stumbled, nearly falling. The sniper hadn't missed, he'd aimed to scare. To toy with him. This wasn't a firefight, it was a hunt. He zigzagged, ducking low, praying the terrain would give him cover. His wrists burned from the rope marks, his shoulder throbbed from the earlier graze, but his legs kept moving. He could feel eyes on his back, calm and merciless, waiting for the moment to finish it. Another shot. This one whistled past his ears so close he felt the heat. Cole dove behind a boulder, chest heaving. Sweat ran into his eyes. He gripped his rifle tighter, trying to slow his breathing. He knew the sniper could wait him out. The man had patience like stone. But Cole also knew something the sniper didn't. His squad was out there. Moving. Closing in. Sergeant Ramirez crouched in the scrub at the base of the ridge, binoculars pressed tight to his eyes. He'd seen the shadow of movement, Cole sprinting, diving for cover, shots cracking after him. "Damn fool's still alive," Ramirez muttered. Relief and frustration twisted together in his gut. Private Wilson shifted nervously beside him, rifle shaking in his hands. "Sarge, if we move up now, he'll cut us down." Ramirez didn't answer immediately. He studied the ridgeline, tracing the likely angles, the sniper's nest, the escape routes. He'd faced hunters like this before. Men who turn war into sport. He lowered the binoculars. "That bastard wants us scared. Wants us to freeze. We give him that, Cole dies. We push smart, we've got a chance." Corporal Davis spat in the dirt. "Define smart, Sarge. Because uphill against a sniper sounds like suicide any way you cut it." Ramirez's jaw clenched. He looked at his squad, tired, battered, but still standing. They needed a win. And leaving Cole to die wasn't an option. "We split," Ramirez decided. "Wilson, Davis, you draw fire on the left flank. Keep him busy. I'll take the rest up the right. We catch him between us, force him to move, and Cole slips out." Wilson's eyes widened. That's bait." "Yeah," Ramirez said flatly. "And you're got a problem with that?" Wilson swallowed hard. Then shook his head. "No, Sarge." Ramirez clapped his shoulder once, firm. "Good man. Keep your head down. Don't be a hero." Back on the ridge, Cole pressed his back against the boulder, straining to hear through the ringing silence. The sniper hadn't fired again. That meant one of two things. Either he was repositioning or he was waiting for Cole to panic and move. A stone shifted behind him. Cole spun, rifle raised. Nothing. Just wind and dirt. Then the voice, close, chilling. "You run like prey. But prey gets tired. Hunter doesn't." Cole's skin crawled. He turned slowly, scanning every shadow, every crease in the rock. The sniper could have been anywhere. Watching. Smiling. But then, gunfire erupted from the left flank. Short, sharp bursts. His squad. The sniper's attention snapped. Cole heard the scuff of boots on stone, the click of a rifle bolt. Opportunity. Cole broke from cover, sprinting again, this time not away but sideways, toward the sound of his squad. Toward home. The sniper fired, once, twice, but the angles were rushed now, wild. Bullets sparked against stone. Cole slid into a shallow trench, gasping, dirt spraying. Cole. Ramirez's voice thundered from above. Keep moving. We're coming. Cole's chest tightened with relief. They were here. They hadn't given up on him. But the sniper roared over the gunfire, voice raw with rage. He's mine. A grenade arced through the air, landing dangerously close. Cole barely had time to dive. The explosion tore the trench apart, blasting his ears, showering him with rock and grit. His body slammed hard against the dirt. He rolled, coughing, ears ringing, vision swimming. Blood dripped from a gash on his forehead. His rifle was gone, lost in the blast. And then, a shadow loomed. The sniper stood over him, rifle discarded, combat knife gleaming in his fist. His face was twisted with fury, eyes wild. You took my brother, he snarled. Now I take yours. The blade slashed downward. Cole twisted, the knife grazing his arm. Pain seared, but he kicked hard, catching the sniper in the knee. The man staggered, then swung again. They grappled, rolling in the dirt, fists and elbows striking, every blow fueled by rage and desperation. Cole clawed for the knife, hands slick with blood, heart hammering. Gunfire cracked close. Ramirez's squad was on them, shouting, closing fast. The sniper's eyes flicked up, then back to Cole. He bared his teeth in a furious grin. Too late. He wrenched free, shoving Cole back, and hurled the knife not at him, but at Wilson, who was scrambling up the ridge to help. Cole's stomach dropped. No. The knife spun end over end, catching Wilson in the shoulder. The young private screamed, tumbling backward. Rage boiled white-hot in Cole's chest. He lunged, tackling the sniper, slamming him against the rocks. His fists rained down, every punch a wordless scream, every impact a promise. The sniper fought back viciously, but Cole didn't stop. He couldn't. Not until Ramirez yanked him off, shouting in his ear. Cole. Enough. Cole blinked through the haze, chest heaving, knuckles raw. The sniper lay sprawled, bloodied but still breathing, eyes glaring like a wounded wolf. Take him alive, Ramirez ordered coldly. He'll answer for this. Cole wanted to finish it. God, he wanted to. But he forced himself back, fists trembling, vision blurred with fury and exhaustion. Wilson groaned nearby, clutching his shoulder. Davis dragged him back, muttering curses. The squad formed a loose circle around the downed sniper. The man didn't beg, didn't plead. He just spat blood and whispered, "This isn't over." And Cole knew he was right. That night, they huddled in the ruins of a blown-out farmhouse at the edge of the valley. Ramirez kept the sniper bound, guarded by 2 men at all times. Wilson lay pale but alive, wound bandaged. Cole sat apart, staring at his bloodied hands. The firelight flickered across his face, shadows deepening the lines of exhaustion. Ramirez came over, settling heavily beside him. Neither spoke for a while. The silence was thick, broken only by the crackle of flames and the distant echo of artillery. Finally Ramirez spoke. "You did good today, Cole. Stupid, reckless, but good." Cole gave a bitter laugh. "Tell that to Wilson. Or King." Ramirez's eyes hardened. "This war eats people alive, son. If you start carrying every death on your back, you won't make it to the next ridge." Cole stared into the fire. He wanted to believe that. He wanted to let the words sink in. But the image of the spotter's lifeless eyes, the sound of Wilson's scream, the sniper's vow, they burned too deep. Ramirez clapped his shoulder once, firm. "Get some rest. Tomorrow we move. Command'll want their prize." Cole nodded faintly. But as he lay down on the cold floor, staring at the cracked ceiling, he couldn't shake the feeling. The sniper was right. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Dust swirled in the desert air as Cole crouched behind a collapsed wall, sweat dripping into his eyes. His breathing was ragged but controlled, the product of years of training. His rifle rested snug in his shoulder, eyes sweeping the street ahead where the sound of distant gunfire still cracked through the heavy silence. The ambush had changed everything. His squad had taken losses, and now the survivors were scattered, every man and woman relying on instinct and grit to push forward. Somewhere ahead, the sniper who had taunted him still lingered, patient and deliberate. "Cole, you copy?" Daniel's voice crackled over the radio, faint but steady. "I read," Cole whispered back, eyes never leaving the shadows. "What's your position?" 2 blocks east. Trying to regroup with Ramirez and Silva. "We're pinned by heavy fire near a burnt-out convoy." "What's your sit rep?" Cole adjusted his grip on the rifle, scanning a shattered window frame. "Solo for now. Moving north. Sniper's still active. He's toying with us." There was a pause on the other end, then Daniels spoke low and urgent. "That bastard knows you. You think he's still zeroed on you?" Cole exhaled slowly. "He hasn't missed yet. He's watching." The silence that followed was heavier than any gunfire. Cole pushed away from the wall, hugging the rubble as he advanced through a narrow alley. Every step was deliberate. The sniper's voice still haunted him from before, that mocking, unervingly calm tone that had cut through the chaos. "I know you. I've studied you. You're predictable." The war wasn't just bullets anymore, it was psychological. And Cole was determined not to break. As he slipped out of the alley, he caught movement to his left. A figure darted across the street, civilian or insurgent, he couldn't be sure. Cole raised his rifle but didn't fire. His finger trembled on the trigger, discipline pulling him back from an instinctive shot. Seconds later, a burst of gunfire tore from a rooftop, cutting the figure down in a spray of dust and blood. Cole hit the ground, pressing his cheek against the hot concrete. The sniper again. Precise. Merciless. Cole muttered into his comms. "Confirmed sniper kill. Civilians are still in the AO." "Copy that," Daniels answered grimly. The rules of engagement echoed in Cole's head. Identify before you fire. Avoid civilian casualties at all cost. It was easy to recite, harder to live by when the enemy exploited those very rules, weaving innocents into the battlefield as cover and distraction. Cole pushed forward, low and quick. He needed height, a vantage point. Ducking into a bombed-out apartment building, he crept up the stairs, each step echoing in the hollow space. The floorboards creaked under his boots, the air thick with dust. He found a perch near a shattered window, glass crunching faintly under his knee as he set up position. From here he scanned the street below. Rubble, burnt vehicles, empty storefronts. And then, there. A faint glint, a reflection from the rooftop opposite. His pulse spiked. The sniper. Cole steadied his breathing, adjusting his scope. He didn't fire immediately. Patience was everything. He tracked the movement, a shadow leaning into position, rifle barrel just visible. Cole squeezed, slow and steady, sending a shot cracking across the divide. The figure jerked, dropped out of sight. "Target down," Cole whispered, but he didn't believe it. "Not yet." He kept watching. Seconds stretched. Sweat rolled down his temple. Then, movement again, deliberate, almost mocking. A hand rose, waving once before disappearing into cover. Cole's teeth clenched. He hadn't killed him. He had only drawn blood, maybe grazed him. And the sniper wanted him to know it. "Daniels," Cole said, voice low and edged with frustration. "I've engaged him. He's wounded, but he's not dead. That's enough. Wounded men make mistakes. Push him." Cole knew better. This sniper wasn't like the rest. He wasn't careless. He was a predator, and predators grew more dangerous when wounded. Before Cole could reply, the radio crackled with Silva's voice, frantic and broken. "We're hit. Ramirez is down. Heavy fire from the west side. Need immediate support." Cole's gut twisted. Without hesitation, he slid from the window and bolted down the stairwell, boots hammering the steps. Every instinct screamed at him to stay low, but loyalty drove his legs faster than fear. He burst back into the street, darting through alleys, weaving between debris. The gunfire grew louder, heavier. Smoke rose in plumes and screams carried over the chaos. As he rounded a corner, he spotted Daniels crouched behind a burned Humvee, rifle blazing toward a cluster of insurgents dug into a collapsed shopfront. Silva lay prone beside him, firing in short bursts, her face streaked with dirt and blood. Ramirez was slumped against the vehicle, motionless, a crimson stain spreading across his vest. Cole dropped beside them, bullets sparking off metal around them. "Status?" Daniels snarled, sweat streaking his face. "Bad. Ramirez is gone. They're pressing hard. We can't stay pinned here." Cole glanced at Silva, whose eyes were wide but determined. She shook her head at Ramirez's still body, confirming what Daniels had said without words. Cole swallowed hard, shoving grief down where it wouldn't interfere. "We break left. Draw their fire, flank them. Silva cover. Daniels with me." The plan was insane, but waiting meant death. On his signal, Silva unleashed suppressing fire, her rifle spitting fire and fury. Cole and Daniels darted left, sprinting across the street into the cover of rubble. Bullets cracked past them, one striking a wall so close Cole felt fragments bite his cheek. He ignored the sting, driving forward. They slid into position, now flanking the insurgents' nest. Cole signaled, and together he and Daniels opened fire. The sudden angle caught the enemy off guard. Two went down instantly, their rifles clattering to the dirt. The others scrambled, shouting in panic, some returning fire wildly. Cole advanced, firing with precision, each shot controlled. Daniels moved with equal ferocity, covering his angles. Within moments the fight shifted. The insurgents broke, retreating through a rear alley. Cole wanted to pursue, but Daniels grabbed his shoulder. Not now. We hold. Cole nodded, forcing his adrenaline to steady. They regrouped with Silva, who was panting, her rifle barrel smoking. Her hands trembled slightly as she reloaded. They're pulling back, Cole said, scanning the street. We've got breathing room. But the relief was bitter. Ramirez's body was slumped beside the Humvee, eyes glassy and fixed on nothing. Cole crouched, closing them gently with a gloved hand. Rest easy, brother. Silva's lips trembled, but she forced composure. We can't leave him here. Daniels nodded grimly. We won't. But we need extraction. Radio's fried. Nearest relay is north side. That's our move. As they prepared to move Ramirez's body, a faint voice drifted across the street, carried on the wind. Cole. Mocking. 3 down. How many more before you break? The sniper. Still alive. Still watching. Cole froze, every muscle tensed. The others looked around wildly, trying to pinpoint the source. But the voice had no clear direction, as if it came from everywhere. Cole's jaw clenched. He's bleeding, but he's not beaten. He wants me rattled. Daniel's eyes narrowed. Then don't give him the satisfaction. But Cole already felt the weight pressing down. This wasn't just combat, it was personal. The sniper had made it so. They carried Ramirez's body together, slipping through the ruins toward the north relay. The sniper didn't fire again, but his silence was worse than his voice. Every step forward felt like walking into a trap. Inside, Cole's thoughts churned. Every decision had cost them, splitting from Bravo, Ramirez's death, Silva barely holding it together. And the sniper's voice still echoed in his skull. The war wasn't just about territory or missions. It was about survival. And Cole knew survival meant outthinking the predator who hunted him. But as they vanished deeper into the ruins, one question haunted him more than any bullet. Was the sniper truly just another enemy? Or was he someone who already knew Cole's playbook better than he knew it himself? The silence of the city gave no answers, only the promise of another deadly move in the game neither man was willing to lose. The night pressed down like a suffocating blanket as Cole, Daniels, and Silva moved through the broken city streets, carrying Ramirez's body on a makeshift stretcher. The moonlight barely pierced the haze of dust and smoke that hung over the ruins. Each step was heavy, not just from the weight of their fallen brother, but from the knowledge that eyes were on them. The sniper hadn't fired since his taunt, but his silence was louder than gunfire. Cole's senses were stretched razor-thin, every shadow a possible muzzle flash, every faint glimmer a potential scope glint. His rifle was always in motion, sweeping rooftops, windows, collapsed balconies. He felt hunted, and that wasn't paranoia, it was fact. The sniper had marked him, wounded him in spirit if not in flesh. Silva's breathing was shallow as she gripped her side of the stretcher, sweat soaking her uniform. Her strength was wavering, but stubbornness kept her moving. Daniels noticed, shifting more weight onto his side, saying nothing. Cole respected that. Words wouldn't help. They ducked into an abandoned garage, lowering Ramirez gently onto the ground. The quiet inside was deafening, only their ragged breaths filling the air. We can't keep carrying him like this, Daniels said finally, his voice low but steady. The relay's still 3 clicks north. We'll burn out before we make it. Silva's eyes shone in the dim light, her jaw tightening. We're not leaving him. Not here. Cole crouched beside Ramirez, staring at the man's still face. 1,000 memories of laughter, complaints, jokes around the fire flashed in his head, colliding with the brutal finality of this moment. She's right. We don't leave our own. We'll find transport. Something with wheels. This city's full of wrecks. We just need one that runs. Daniels exhaled sharply, nodding once. Fine. But we move fast. That bastard's still watching. As if summoned by the thought, a bullet cracked into the wall behind them, spraying concrete into Cole's hair. Instinctively they hit the floor, crawling for cover. The sniper had found them. Move. Out the back. Cole barked. He grabbed Ramirez by the shoulders while Daniels took the feet. Silva kicked open the back door, and they stumbled into a narrow alley, bullets slicing the air inches above their heads. The sniper was forcing them into the open. Cole's heart hammered as they zigzagged through the maze of alleys. They couldn't keep outrunning him. They needed a counterplay. He dropped into cover behind a rusted dumpster, signaling the others down. He's hurting us, Cole whispered, scanning rooftops. Every shot's meant to push us into his kill zone. Daniels was sweating hard, fury in his eyes. Then we flip it. Make him chase, set our own ambush. Cole's mind raced. The sniper wasn't reckless. He wouldn't walk into a trap blindly. Unless they forced him to. We use Ramirez. Silva snapped her head toward him, eyes blazing. No. Don't you dare. Listen, Cole cut in sharply. We place Ramirez out in the open, make it look like we're breaking down, vulnerable. He'll take the shot to finish the job. That's when we nail him. The silence was brutal. Silva's lips trembled, torn between rage and logic. Finally Daniel spoke, voice hard. She doesn't have to like it. But he's right. Cole's stomach churned. He hated himself for suggesting it, hated the cold calculation of war. But if they didn't end this now, more of them would end up like Ramirez. Minutes later, Ramirez's body was propped against a collapsed wall in the open street, his helmet tilted just so. From a distance, it looked like a soldier slumped in despair. Cole and Daniels positioned themselves in flanking positions while Silva reluctantly set up with her rifle behind debris, tears glistening in her eyes but fingers steady on the trigger. The trap was set. The night stretched unbearably. Sweat trickled down Cole's spine as he peered through his scope. His breathing slowed, heart sinking with the rhythm of his focus. He could almost feel the sniper's eyes crawling over the scene, analyzing, waiting. Then, a faint glint. Rooftop, 3 o'clock. The barrel eased into view, steady, deliberate. Cole's finger tightened on the trigger. The shot came, but it wasn't theirs. A single crack split the night. Ramirez's helmet jerked back, fragments flying. The sniper had taken the bait. Now, Cole hissed. He and Silva fired simultaneously, bullets streaking across the rooftop. Daniels launched a grenade that arced in a perfect curve, exploding in a thunderous roar. The rooftop vanished in smoke and fire. Cole's chest heaved. Did we get him? Through the haze, movement flickered, dark, agile. The sniper wasn't dead. He was retreating across the rooftops, shadows slipping between smoke and flame. Son of a bitch, Daniels muttered, reloading. Cole wasn't about to let him slip away again. Stay with Ramirez. I'm going after him. Silva grabbed his arm. No, Cole. That's what he wants. He's baiting you now. Cole met her eyes, steel in his voice. He's not getting away this time. Before they could stop him, Cole sprinted into the night, adrenaline surging, boots pounding the broken streets. He vaulted rubble, scrambled up a fire escape, and emerged onto the rooftops where smoke still curled from the grenade blast. The city stretched before him, jagged silhouettes under the moonlight. He moved low, scanning every shadow. The sniper was somewhere ahead, bleeding, wounded, but dangerous as ever. Cole felt the weight of every decision pressing down on him, but one thing was clear. This was no longer about survival of the squad, it was about ending a personal war between hunter and hunted. A voice cut through the night, closer this time, raw with pain but still mocking. You almost had me, soldier. Almost. But you don't know when to quit. Cole froze, rifle sweeping toward the sound. Show yourself, coward. A faint laugh drifted over the rooftops. Coward? Oh, I've studied you, Cole. You play by rules. You carry your dead, you hesitate on civilians. That's why you'll always lose. That's why I'll always be one step ahead. Cole's blood ran cold. The sniper knew his name. His grip tightened on the rifle. Who the hell are you? No answer, just silence. Then a faint shuffle of boots on gravel. Cole pivoted, firing into the darkness. Sparks flew as bullets struck metal, but no cry of pain followed. The chase was on. Cole darted from cover to cover, following the phantom movements, every nerve alight. The sniper was bleeding, he had to be. Cole could almost smell it in the air, the faint copper tang carried on the wind. But every step forward deepened the mystery. This wasn't just another insurgent. This was someone who had studied him, someone who knew his habits, his instincts. The thought clawed at Cole's mind as he pressed on through the night. Somewhere behind him, Silva and Daniels guarded Ramirez's body, waiting for extraction, praying Cole wasn't walking into his own grave. The sniper's voice echoed once more, colder now, closer. You can't save them all, Cole. And when they fall, it's always your fault, isn't it? Cole's breath caught. The words weren't just a taunt, they were precise, cutting deep into scars only someone who knew his past could exploit.